I am Azalea, the healer from the hood. My husband told me, he says, you have so many stories. You just need to get on there and just tell your stories while you're writing your book. So this is part one. I am proudly from Oakland, California. Was born in San Francisco to Constance McCoy and Carrie McCoy. I was the oldest of 5 brothers and sisters, all named after flowers: Rose, Kazania, Cardenia, Janelle, we call her Daisy, and Kazania. And we have my brother Weed. Just kidding. His name is Emmanuel, which means with us is God. And that's a story within itself. So my dad was a gardener as a young girl. My dad would always say, look at the flowers and how God made them. And initially we were in San Francisco, and every Sunday my grandfather, Ali, would have huge barbecue dinners, and he had Ali's Barbecue on Ocean Avenue in San Francisco. And he had 9 children, and we'd all go ahead and we'd eat together out there. And then one day, my dad got a job with the city of Oakland. And my mother and I was crying across the bridge because we didn't want to be away from the family, and we had not heard of Oakland. But my mother had found this duplex, which was $15,000. She was very good, Connie, at finding houses. And at the time, it was just me. And the house needed a heck of work. And when I knocked on the door, me and my friend Tiffany Chateau, this lady came out looking like a witch. And she's like, I'm like, we're about to get the house. And she was like, I don't want you to get this house. I'm going to put a curse on you and this, that, and the other. And I was like, what? You know, we were young. We were like about 9 years old. And so I remember me and my friend Tiffany, we went to go create the glass, these glasses. We made them out of yarn. And then all of a sudden it broke. It was a glass that was already there. So my mom and dad got rid of everything that was in that house. And everybody who came to the house, my grandfather, my grandmother, my Auntie Joycey, Auntie Laurie, everybody came and painted the house, remodeled it. And to this day, that house is still there on Mara Street. Mara Street was an amazing street. We had Gary Payton living there down the street. Jefferson Elementary was across. We had Dolores, who was Spanish, renting out the bottom. I learned how to cook Spanish food. It was multicultural. We had the Hells Angels around the corner, who I rode with and rode on the bike that my dad doesn't know to this day that I rode with them. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and I got along with everybody on the block. And so we had down the street, we had Papa, who had Samoan food, who roasted pigs. We had Mary down the street, who was Spanish, and she taught me how to make Spanish food. Dolores did fresh cactus. We had the gentleman Frank up the street, who taught me how to make Italian food. It was a melting pot. We had Loretta, who made the best soul food in the world, and we call her ghetto, but she was ghetto fabulous. She had several kids, and she used to be a drug dealer. And she told me a Caucasian man taught her how to turn that energy from drug dealing into selling real estate. Okay? And she became the bomb real estate person and ended up paying cash for her house. Okay, so this is part one. I have some amazing stories that I'm going to tell as I'm writing my book. But Oakland for me was amazing. The weather was nice. The community was strong. It was multicultural, all nationalities. And we looked out for each other. Then we had Maya and Marcy across the street. Their mom was a single parent who had very strong values. And to this day, Maya is a superintendent of schools. And Marcy graduated from Tuskegee. And so, I mean, we have some amazing stories that unfold. And I remember being outside, and my father told me, come inside, come inside. We were playing outside, and they were spraying us in Oakland with melathion. And my dad said, you know, he said they're supposedly spraying the gnats. And I said to my dad, and we looked at each other, I guess we're the gnats. And he's like, get inside. I saw no gnats that they were spraying. I really think that we were the gnats. So I feel like there was a lot of environmental racism going on. You know, I was taught and raised around different nationalities because my whole family's mixed up, from African to Filipino. My dad's Filipino. The roots go back to even German, Nigeria, Ghana. We have some Puerto Rican in our family. It's all mixed up. And so I feel like I represent the world. Caucasian, we have everything. If you look at my whole family, they all look different from different nationalities. So I appreciate the culture, but I also embrace who I am, and I embrace my natural self of who I am. I'm proud of the experiences, good and bad, because they make who we are. And this story needs to be told because we were sprayed several times with the malathion. And then I found out later that down the street, there was a cancer causing place environmentally. And I noticed a lot of people started getting sick in the area. So this is part 1. Stay tuned. I'm going to go further into part 2 of Healer from the Hood. This is Azalea. Take care.